Good day, everyone. Welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music channel. I'm Anna Spinskaya. I'm a pianist, and by the way, happy Pianist Day to everyone. I'm joining you from Washington, D.C. suburbs, and I'll be hosting the show for you. In today's program, we get a chance to meet and talk with Donna Weng Friedman. She's an incredible artist and person, and she's a performer, she's a recording artist, she's educator, film director, and much, much more.
He came to this country with nothing but his hopes and dreams.
And as always, we're here to connect musicians and audiences in real-time performances, discussions, meetings from around the globe. Guests on our shows are incredible artists from every part of the world. Not only they are very open, welcoming, and warm people, and they're very open to respond to your questions, comments, to connect with you on a more personal level, to develop further relationships with participants, with members of the audience. Our collaborators and sponsors are also open to connect. So please don't hesitate. Just hit that button on the chat button and to send us your comments, send us your suggestions, and send us how to get back in touch with you. And with this, I'm going to do a quick brief introduction. It's impossible to do a brief introduction of Donna, but I'll try my best. So, award-winning pianist Donna Weng Friedman enjoys a distinguished career as a soloist, chamber musician, educator, curator, producer, filmmaker, and app developer. She was recently inducted into the Steinway & Sons Teacher Hall of Fame that just happened recently on October 5th, just a month ago. Donna wrote, directed, and produced the award-winning documentary short, Never Fade Away, featuring Chun-Wei Chan, the first principal dancer of Chinese descent in New York City Ballet, the entire 75-year history. A short clip of Never Fade Away was shown on the big screen at Times Square on May 1st in honor of AAPI Heritage Month. Donna was since featured on many news channels, on CBS, on ABC, on NBC, and many other abbreviations. Pardon that sound, I'm going to get rid of it. Donna is the inaugural winner of the Women Who Innovate Grant 2023. How appropriate. She is an innovator all through and through. This grant was awarded by the International Alliance for Women in Music Global Initiatives Committee for her, quote-unquote, impactful and meaningful work. And I want to add from my own heart, very profound, very welcoming, very kind and supportive. That's who Donna is. Her album Heritage and Harmony, Silver Linings, featuring exclusively AAPI and BIPOC artists, garnered 2 silver medals in the 2022 Global Music Awards. It is intended as a response to the wave of violence against Asian American and Pacific Islander individuals. This EP was aiming to promote understanding and tolerance among people of all backgrounds. Donna is a social activist of peace, tolerance, and love. In collaboration with WQXR, Donna created and produced Heritage in Harmony, a virtual concert series in celebration of Asian Pacific Heritage Month. Donna was awarded 2022 New York Women Composers Grant. She was featured as a guest artist on the National Women's History Museum series. Donna was performed in concert halls worldwide and appeared as soloist with many major symphony orchestras. That's just a little side hustle she does, performing major programs in major concert halls all over the world. I don't know how she does it, but I'm going to ask. The curator of Donna Weng Friedman Masterclass Series at Princeton University. She's also a member of Princeton University Music Department's Advisory Council. Donna was the music supervisor and recording artist for the award-winning film documentaries Frames of Life, Living in Liberty, Morris Angle, The Independent. Donna created the Music Bee Club. I love the name of it. It's an interactive classical music app series for children ages 2 to 8, and it's featuring principal cellist of the New York Philharmonic, Carter Bray, and flutist Elizabeth Mann, and it's produced by David Frost, who is a 21-time Grammy Award winner. Don't miss that app. It's cute, it's engaging, and it's great music. And I'm extremely proud to call this astounding artist in person my friend. Welcome, Donna, and thank you for taking time to join my program.
Thank you so much, Anna, for inviting me and for that unbelievable introduction.
Do you believe that's you? You're amazing. And you really are doing all those things, and you really are doing them all at once, and with a calm, kind, and loving voice and caring approach
not
to
always
people.
so calm. No, not always so calm. But I'm very lucky and so grateful to be able to, maybe in my own small way give back, because I'm so lucky. Everything that I've done in my life is centered around my love, my deep passion for classical music. Mm-hmm. And since I was a kid, that was what got me through, the good days and the bad days. And I'm so, so lucky. And I don't think everybody, has that opportunity. And so I think that's really where so much of my motivation to do the programs comes from.
Yeah. So giving back and sharing with people, and you mentioned something incredible, and in our short preparation to this program, it's the people. And the people are the center of everything. And I know you do everything for people. I'm going to ask you more questions about your motivation and how you do with your time and how do you manage all of that. But first, I want to really talk about that film. Not every day I get a chance to meet a pianist who is a filmmaker, film director, writer of the film script, and all of that. Can you please just tell us a little bit more about this incredible short, which is won numerous awards? It seems like every festival it's being shown at is awarding something, one award or another to this film, and rightfully so.
Well, the film is called Never Fade Away, and it was originally just started out as a love letter to my parents. My parents passed away quite some time ago, and the story is my father's immigration story, how he came to this country from China. He fled the Japanese occupation, and he came here to New York City, in fact, with nothing but his hopes and dreams. And through hard work and, believe it or not, a radio and a waltz, he was able to find the strength and the motivation to really make a life here in this country and to finally have a family and give me all the opportunities that he never had growing up in China. So it was quite an experience. It was a story that I actually started telling during the pandemic in 2021 on what would have been his 100th birthday. And I just shared it on Facebook, and I was overwhelmed by the incredible response from friends and people who I didn't even know. So then I started sharing the story with music. And then when the world opened up again, I started doing that in person with music, with that special waltz that my father loved so much and was so inspired by. And then I asked my dear friend, choreographer Ariel Grossman, whose work I am just crazy about. And I asked her if she would kindly choreograph the waltz. And it was something that I wasn't sure she would do, because she really only choreographs for music by living composers. But after I told her the story, she decided that she needed to do this. And her choreography was just beautiful. I didn't want just a little waltz. That wasn't my intention at all. Anybody can waltz to the music. But she told a story within
She
waltz.
absolutely did.
Yeah, she really
The
did.
film unfolds like a full, complete story. It's incredible. And the radio is part of it, and the feelings and the struggle and overcoming and the joy and holding on to that melody. I mean, it's unbelievable. We're not going to show the full film. Our audience will have to visit, where it's available for a real showing.
Well, it's playing tomorrow night. It's going to be in Brooklyn tomorrow night at the Mark O'Donnell Theater at 7 p.m. But
Okay, thank you for that information. And hopefully we can put it on the screen. If anyone is living in New York or in New Jersey or somewhere around, don't miss it. On a full screen, that's quite an experience. Yeah. And speaking of full screen, a segment of that film was shown somewhere. I'm not going to spill the beans. Let's see where. Isn't that phenomenal? Isn't that so heartwarming to hear the waltz by Chopin played by Donna on... What screen is that? Let's see if our audience can take a wild guess. Yes, you all got it. That's right, on Times Square.
yeah, that was thrilling. I have to say it was thrilling. And I just wanted
It is thrilling.
Well,
Donna, I'm sorry to interrupt, but when I saw that, I went like, yes, Chopin music and this beautiful dancing on Times Square. That's absolutely thrilling. Warms my heart. I love piano. I love Chopin. I have not seen it before on Times Square screen, to be honest with you.
well, so in that little video, of course, on the screen, you see the extraordinary dancers Chun Wei Chan and Xiao Xiao Cao. And then you pan to this lovely woman with the iPhone, and that's Xiao Xiao Cao. She's the one who was dancing up there.
That's right.
Yeah. And the person actually who put together that beautiful video is my cinematographer, Garrett Parker. So, again, it was a learning experience for me and, a total labor of love. But the greatest thing for me was that I was able to collaborate with the most extraordinary team. From the dancers to the choreographer to the cinematographer to the editor to the audio producers. I could not have done this alone. I always say teamwork makes the dream work.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So I'm so grateful to each and every one of them.
And why am I not surprised that the best and the most creative, the most giving people flock around you, Donna? Working with you is a dream come true. Yeah, you're so supportive, you're so welcoming, and you're always open to hear what people say, and always open to consider some ideas. And there's never a fear to propose something to you which you may just harshly reject. I have it from my own experience. We started working together on when the Sound Espressivo was in the very infantile stages, and it had a terrible visual already splattered all over internet, and you didn't judge, you just sent me a message, are you sure you want those really creepy images there? And no, we didn't want the creepy images. But how many other people would just judge it and say, well, these are a creepy team if they put this kind of images. So that's a tremendous attesting to who you are, the kind of person you are. And that's what I want to ask. How do you find strength and energy to work with other people within such welcoming way? You're really a model for me in that. I really learned all the way about that. But how do you invent it? How did you invent it? How do you do that?
Well, I don't do anything really. I mean, I just meet extraordinary artists from all over the world. It's one of those silver linings from the pandemic, frankly speaking. I think I was much more isolated before then. I'm just New York people, which is not anything to sneeze at. I've worked with some of the greatest musicians and artists. But virtually being able to connect with people has been a real godsend. And so I've been able to talk to people, in California easily, in Europe, wherever, and learn about, things that I don't know about. And I think that's probably what I enjoy. I enjoy being a student, a forever student. I love learning new things. I mean, starting from learning how to make and create apps to producing and directing a film, and I kind of do it now because I have nothing to lose. And I want to show the younger generation that nobody, you make mistakes. It's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. That's how you learn from it. And no one's expecting anything. I started this film, and it was just going to be a 4-minute little film. I never thought about film festivals. I never thought about anything like that. But, it just started growing and growing. And then I just went with the flow. And it's been, the most unbelievable journey for me. So rewarding. Artistically, personally, as you can imagine, the first time I saw it on the big screen last May at NYU. That day, the day of the premiere, I wanted to pull it. Mm-hmm. I told my husband, I said, I can't do this. We can't. Why would anybody want to see a movie made by me? I'm not a filmmaker. And I was having what I would consider to be severe imposter syndrome.
Oh.
So my husband, who is always so supportive and so wonderful and so kind and loving, he said, that's ridiculous. You have a beautiful story to share, and and you need to just relax and enjoy it and share it with people. Mm-hmm. And so the first night, it played 3 nights, and the first night I was so nervous. Mm-hmm. And I sat there between my husband and my daughter, and I don't even know if I was able to even realize what was happening when the lights went dim. But when I started hearing the audience respond, and they laughed where they were supposed to laugh, and they sighed where they were supposed to sigh, mm-hmm. I relaxed a little bit. So then the second and the third nights, I actually really enjoyed myself, But it was tough for me, and recently I've been invited to be a judge of all things at 2 film festivals that we won awards at. And I don't think I'm doing it because I don't really think I'm qualified to do that, So, it's still very, very new to me. Mm-hmm. But I am delighted and thrilled beyond expectation, beyond my wildest dreams, the way it turned out. I'm so emotionally moved by the audience responses, the film festivals, but also, the team, my team. They are, the greatest, most wonderful artists, so generous. Chun Wei Chan, my goodness, the, history-making first principal dancer of Chinese descent from the New York City Ballet. For him to say yes to me, I didn't even think he was going to. It was just one of those things that at my age, I'm not afraid of rejection anymore, so I take my chances. And we had a conversation, a phone call, and he said, send me the script. I sent him the script, and he called me up. He said, yeah, I want to do this. He said, I'm an immigrant too. This story resonates with me so deeply. And so as soon as he became, part of my team, he was, my goodness, it became a little bit something bigger. And that's when I asked him if he would do one of the scenes. My father, when he was, very, very depressed, and he came to this country, had no friends, no family, and no money. And so he lived in a basement in the hole in the wall downtown. And I asked Chun if he would please do an improvisation, of that scene. And boy, what he did was extraordinary. So I am blessed, grateful,
That's incredible, and also speaks to another thing which you do so organically, but it comes from that deep wisdom of yours, which is being open to the unknown journey, and being open to just basically subject yourself to unknown experiences, unknown events, and potentially, could be hurtful events. What if, your film is rejected by the audience? You can't know it for sure. It is a beautiful film. Everyone tells you that, and you know it. But still, when you put it out, just like you said, without the background of degree in filming and this, it can be very, very nerve-wracking experience. You're very courageous, and you're not afraid to put yourself out vulnerable, but that openness is what also attracts me to be around you, and lots and lots of other people, because I frankly draw motivation to put myself out by looking at what you do and how you do that. And it's not even the success which you enjoy, tremendous success. And it's not even a feeling like, okay, if Donna can do it, then maybe I can do it. No, it's that contagious curiosity about people, about life, about events and experiences, which you just exude every time we talk. It's that giving and curiosity, and that's that kind of protects from giving into fear. But speaking of success, we all hear that put yourself out, be courageous, be vulnerable, and success will come. And it does. I want to show a little bit of clips from tremendous successes that your film enjoyed.
Today marks the start of Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and tonight we're introducing you to a Chinese American, Sing-Tu Wang. He was a prisoner during the Japanese invasion in the 40s, and his life struck a different chord when he stepped into the world of music. News 4's Chris Jose shows us how his journey is becoming a film.
He came to this country with nothing, nothing but his hopes and dreams.
Never fade away. 3 words intertwined through one man's journey to the United States. A radio and a waltz, changing a Chinese immigrant's life in the 1940s. The story coming to life through music and dance.
It means that our memories, our stories of heritage should never be forgotten.
Donna Weng Friedman is the short film's writer, director, and producer. For her, this is personal. It's about her father, Sing-Tu Weng.
That pivotal moment was when he bought himself a radio.
The film showcasing Weng's arrival in the United States with his wife. He worked menial jobs and struggled to provide for his family.
That radio, it changed his life because he was able to enter a world of glorious music.
Music connecting Weng to his new home while also reminiscing about his past. During the Japanese invasion, he was imprisoned for opening and operating an underground school. A Japanese soldier who had a child at Weng's school later set him free.
And that's when my father came to this country, and he had no money, he didn't know anybody, no family, no friends, and he barely spoke English.
Weng's experience reimagined through a lens still relevant today. Every move and expression, a symbol of love and sacrifice.
There was a story that I needed to tell. There was a relationship between the 2 dancers that needed to be quite clear.
The music telling the story coming from an emotional place, one connecting a first-generation Chinese-American family back to their roots.
It's shining a light on the immigrant experience.
Chris Jose, News 4 New York.
And before we go, we want...
And of course, the media picked up on this story. How do you feel when such an intimate, such a profoundly personal story of your family? I mean, I know you intended to share it, but then all of a sudden it's being shared on all the media all over the world.
Wow, Anna, you hit right the nail on the head. I didn't really realize where this was going to go. As I said, it just started out as a love letter to my parents. And then all of a sudden, I realized that I'm really just exposing my, our family photos, our stories, and I'm not I'm not a public person. I'm actually a pretty private person. But the world has gone through so much. There's been so much hatred, ugliness. And I thought that, I've always believed that sharing our stories of heritage would bring us together because people would know that we're more alike than we are different. Mm-hmm. And when I did do the live concerts with the dance of my father's story, people would come up to me who I never met from all different backgrounds and say, "Oh my God, my father had the same experience. He lived in a basement. Oh my God, and it was just such an amazing feeling to be connected, through this story." And so at one point, I just made that decision that it would be worth it to put my family's story out there, even if a handful of people resonated with it, it would be worth it. But
it's really, a lot more than a handful of people resonate with the story. Yeah. And just like you said, that resonance also brings people together on a very deep emotional level, on the level of their own personal heritage. So you are uniting. I know I heard it from you many times, uniting in love and love for the music, love for each other, and understanding and acceptance is your personal mission in a way. And this story does unite people who may be completely from different countries, but share the experience, the family experience of struggle, travel, changing countries and making life and finding friends. Like you said, coming into the country where you have no friends, how do you find friends? this is one of the ways, by sharing your own story.
Yeah, it's also finding a purpose. You know, my father, when he heard the music on the radio, and he told this to me, he said, you know, he was, you know, very depressed and had no money, no family, no friends. But when he heard that gorgeous music, he said, a country that has such beauty, that gives me so much hope in this music, has to be worth fighting for. So, you know, those words, you know, are so true. We have to focus on the beauty. We have to focus on what's good. And I really believe that people at their core, you know, are good and kind, because that's how I felt all my life. I've never had, you know, except for that one incident in 2020 when I was assaulted for being Asian, but that was also because of that crazed, you know, the pandemic, the coronavirus coming, and people were, you know, so fearful of the unknown. You know, not to excuse any kind of, you know, thuggish behavior at all, but I choose to focus my life on positive.
Yes, you do. And focusing on your life on positive, you create a lot of positive. Well, I want to show you a little clip of another interview you gave on CBS. Maybe not the whole, that was a really long, in-depth interview, but let's see a little snippet of it.
We want to highlight a special short film premiering this Wednesday as part of the 15th season of the Ariel Rivka Dance Company. Take a look.
He came to this country with nothing but his hopes and dreams.
The film is about a Chinese immigrant who came to this country in the 1940s, told through music and dance. And joining me now is the director and producer of the film, Donna Weng Friedman. And also here is the film's choreographer and dance company founder, Ariel Grossman. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Now, Donna, this film is based on your father. Tell me about him and his story.
My father was born in Ningbo, China. That's where he was raised, into a very, very poor family. He was the oldest of 13 kids. Only 5 survived childhood. In fact, when he was born, he had the umbilical cord tied around his neck, so he was a blue baby. And they thought he was dead. And he was born at home, no midwives. They threw him in the garbage.
Oh, my gosh.
And in the middle of the night, they heard cries. So they got him, and he showed everyone from day one that he was a fighter. Then in the 1940s, when he was just about 20, during the Japanese occupation, they shut down all the Chinese schools, and they opened up Japanese schools to teach the Chinese kids Japanese culture, history, and language, and my dad did not think that was right. So he set up an underground Chinese school. And all the families brought their kids to his school. And it went really well for a while until the soldiers found out, and they destroyed the school, and they put him in jail. They imprisoned him. A couple of weeks later, as luck would have it, one of the Japanese guards was married to a Chinese woman, and their son was my dad's student. So he came in the middle of the night and set him free, but told him he had to leave the country and never come back. And that's when he left his homeland and came to this country. He had no money, no friends, no family. He didn't speak the language very much, so he got himself a manual job, you know, kind of long hours, little pay, and he ate 1 meal a day, peanut butter and rice.
Wow.
And soon he got very, very depressed. But after saving his pennies for several months, he bought himself a very special gift, a radio. And that changed his life. So his story not only shines a light on the power of the immigrant experience, but also on the healing power of music.
That is so true.
That's incredibly
We
true.
want to highlight a special.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful interview and such a story. I didn't want to ask you to repeat the family story. I'm sure it's never going to be not painful to talk about these events.
Well, it's emotional.
Mm-hmm.
It is emotional. It's yeah.
Okay, well, I have a whole list of things I want to ask you more, and before we run out of time, directing film, writing script, working with dancers is just a part of what Donna does. And I want to also talk a bit about your work with living composers and your performances and your recordings of albums and all the work you do in collaboration with composers who are current living now and composing the music for audiences right now. Well, maybe we start by seeing another short documentary with quiet poems. If you please just tell us a little bit about that work.
Okay. Quiet Poems is a set of 3 poems to nature by my very dear friend, the composer Kim D. Sherman. And it's part of a piano album called Unfathomable Things. Quiet Poems is the first set, and we recorded this on a very special piano. Adam Gettle, who happens to be the grandson of Richard Rodgers, and Adam Gettle on his own right is a brilliant, the composer of one of the greatest Broadway musical shows, including Light in the Piazza, and right now Days of Wine and Roses, which will be on Broadway in January. So we recorded it in his loft on this extraordinary piano. And the sound is just so beautiful and gorgeous, and the music is just stunning. And I don't really remember how this all came to pass, but we ended up making a video. And the video, with the help of our magician editor, Carl Sonnenberg, is quite special. And I will tell you more about it after you see it.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I was about to say. Let's see it first and then hear a little bit more of the background of it. Unbelievable. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous music video. Well, now tell us a little bit more
First,
about
I'd like to say and share the wonderful news that Quiet Poems, this beautiful video, won a silver medal for Best Music Video, performance-based, at the One Earth Awards this past year. So,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's so deserved.
I love this. I think it's so beautiful. I think the hardest part for me was playing underwater. And it was
How did you do that?
Yeah, and it was a little chilly at night when we moved the piano out into the woods. But you know what? Anything for art, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
Anything for art. No, but that's why, as I said, working with the greatest artists makes everything possible. So, we have this music that is just stunning by Kim. And, I'm performing this and also Four Moods, another set from her Unfathomable Things, this Sunday at Barge Music, and then again Tuesday at Steinway Hall.
We are going to talk about this part and your incredible work of supporting living composers. I want to take, because we're moving away from videos and music films, and I just want to take a quick moment right now, give you a little pause to take a glass of water, and introduce another music film project created by musicians, and that is my team. So, which is of course, people who Donna knows too. But I want to introduce the series of Beethoven symphonies, Magnificent Nine, which were for almost 2.5 years in the making. And finally, we are ready. We started showing those films last Sunday, and every Sunday and Thursday at 12 noon, we go live with a segment of those films. These are full footage, 90-minute films dedicated to each of the Beethoven symphonies, and they were produced in collaboration with Lawrence Rabchak, who, of course, Donna knows, but I'm going to tell everyone, for many, many years, he was the pre-concert lecturer at the Chicago Symphony, and he has this absolutely hypnotizing voice, an incredibly engaging and funny and serious and profound way of narrating the stories of music. And up until these films were produced, only a handful of people who live in Chicago or travel to Chicago and could afford to buy tickets to see the Chicago Symphony could enjoy. So we are absolutely thrilled to be able to bring Lawrence Rabchak's narration and his stories about Beethoven and the symphonies to much wider public through those films. And these films were created, like I said, it was a 2.5 year long project in collaboration also with the architects of music, and the script and the stories which Larry Rabchak wrote and recorded, they are also part of his series talking about the architecture of music and the music and the architects, and it's just extraordinary, incredibly engaging, and very interesting, I think, for people to just peek in and see if you are interested to see more. Like I said, again, every Sunday and every Thursday at 12 noon, we are showing parts of these films, and with all the underlying stories in there and the conversations. But if you miss it, it's available for replays a day after it's been broadcast. And let's see just a couple of short previews.
And if you slow the music way
And
down,
another one.
there's your appoggiatura that suspends. Another one. And another one as it ascends. Another. Another. But instead, Beethoven uses this sequence to drive the music ahead into the first thunderous passage of the work, straight C minor.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm so proud of those films, and I love them. And just like you, Donna, I was listening to you saying how you were really nervous the first time. I'm extremely nervous. I'm not a full producer of it. We're just part of the big team, but still, it's an incredible experience to work with everyone on
It looks
this.
fabulous. It looks amazing. Nothing to be nervous about. I can't wait. I can't wait to see it.
Thank you, Donna. Now let's get back to the upcoming events and your collaborations with living composers. So you'll be performing 5 works by 5 living composers, all in one concert. Tell us more about this.
Sunday, I'll be performing 5 incredible pieces, and I call this program 5 Composers and a Pianist. And the reason why I call it that, it's a kind of a weird reason. It's because for two reasons. This is my first sort of solo piano recital since before the pandemic. And since we were all isolating during the pandemic, you feel very alone. And I don't want to feel alone. I've been playing a lot of chamber music. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm not alone because I've got the composers right there with me. And that's when I thought of the title. And the truth is, I have such admiration and respect for composers. I mean, I cannot even, put this in writing how I feel, because ever since I was little, I've always wanted to compose. I wanted to be creative. But I could never do anything that wasn't already written. So I was like a master plagiarizer, right? But I couldn't come up with one single original tune, idea, or anything. And I think that's probably why I do so much creating in other ways, because I really love being creative. And of course, playing the piano, performing, I'm interpreting other people's music, and I am being creative that way. And thankfully, these composers seem to like my interpretation of their music, thank goodness. But I don't compose, and I don't know how they do it, And the composers whose music I'm performing on Sunday are all dear friends of mine. Beata Moon, the Prelude, which you heard a little bit earlier, she and I studied with Adele Marcus at Juilliard. Stefania De Kennedy, whose Microvids will be premiered. It'll be the world premiere of Microvids for solo piano and poetry recitation. And the poetry will be, recited by a wonderful, wonderful librettist, actually, Diana Solomon Glover. And Stefania and I go back 30 years friendship. And this Microvids, which is 19 miniatures, she wrote during the pandemic as a way to express, all the feelings and emotions that we were all going through during that time. But it continues. Those feelings and those emotions, they just keep coming. And not all of them are terrible. Some of them are feelings of isolation, anxiety, but also it goes to pure joy, because we all feel everything, right? And they're very short, and she wrote the introductory rhyming couplets that introduce each of these 19 miniatures. And I love playing these pieces. It's just, I feel so connected, and we are actually working together again on Microvids in another version for piano and orchestra and poetry recitation, and we'll be performing that in February with the New Jersey Youth Symphony, conducted by the fabulous conductor Helen Chapio. So, I'm so excited, because it's, this is music that will resonate with young kids as well. It's tuneful. I also, my other thing about living composers is that I think new music gets such a bad rap.
Yes, it does.
Right?
That's you nailed it.
People think it's atonal, and you know what? I have to say that for a long time I felt the same way, and I don't want to point fingers or blame anybody in particular, but for me personally, and I loved the man. I think he was the most brilliant man and I studied with him at Princeton, Milton Babbitt. I could not understand any of his music. I couldn't understand what he was saying in lectures because he's so brilliant and talks so fast. But his music to me was kind of inapproachable.
Yes.
And I think that it was that style that back then, it was like in the 70s, 80s.
Exactly. There was a period when composers were just experimenting, but for some reason, public tends to latch on to one small slice of what's happening and then just make a very overarching judgment. You're so right. And
so the composers, the music that I'm performing on Sunday, I would say that most people will, be able to walk out humming the tunes, that kind of thing. There'll be another piece that I'm playing. My first experience playing with electronics. It's called Heartbeat by this very talented young composer, Nilüfer Norbash. And I will tell you that the hardest part for me was setting it up, was learning how to set up, because I have to play the electronics with my pedal, my left foot in the pedal.
Let's see a little snippet of you tackling it.
Okay.
Something happened. I couldn't see it.
Oh, really? Oh, I hope everybody else did.
I hope everybody else did. Maybe my computer is getting a little tired.
Well, I will tell you that poor Nilüfer, who is so lovely, I kept emailing, how do you do this? How do I plug this and that? How do I do this? How do I get this? And that was the hardest part. But playing her music was just a delight. It was just so much fun. It is so much fun. And I can't wait to share it with everybody because it's something so different, something that I've never done before. And then we end the program, and I'm saying we because my dear friend William Hertz, the composer, who wrote this brilliant, unbelievable four-hand version arrangement of The Wizard of Oz. It's called The Wizard of Oz Fantasy. And it's virtuosic, it's melodic, and of course everybody knows the themes from Wizard of Oz, so that'll be so much fun. So it's a program of actually some of my favorite music. I put every single one of these pieces in the same category as Bach that I played, the Beethoven. I mean, I truly feel connected to each of these pieces, each of these composers. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they make my heart soar and sing. I don't know how, but they do. And I can't wait for people to hear this. And we'll be talking about it on Between the Keys with Jed Disler, this radio program that is, he's extraordinary. He's also a wonderful pianist. Jed is a Steinway artist, and he will be leading a panel discussion of my 5 composers and a pianist on Tuesday at Steinway Hall, which is presented by the New York Women Composers. I won this grant, and so I'll be playing a program of all women composers, and some music was written with a very neglected age group in mind, tweens and teens.
That's incredible.
And new music, it's very tough. I mean, I think for teens and tweens in general, a lot of teachers, jump from Bergmuller to, to Brahms. It's very hard. You need to find the right repertoire. And in new music, I teach at Manus Prep, and I've been on juries. I've been on so many, judging competitions. And every time it comes to the category of new music, I must have listened to Philip Glass etudes 1,000 times. That's like the go-to because, the notes are kind of easy, I guess, to play. Not really. They're
Not
very
really.
subtle.
Not
really.
at all.
But that's what I'm saying is that it's not, we need appropriate music.
We need teachers to have access to the composers. We need the ability to convince and the composers, because there's the music which you play and the composers you work with. I know those pieces, they're incredible. They are wonderful for young musicians to play, for professionals to play. They're enjoyable, they're accessible, and they're really very emotional, what the music is meant to do, to express emotions and to let people connect on the emotional level. And this music just needs to be put out there by artists like yourself, and I really admire you for the work you do, for popularizing the music of that level, of that quality, of that purpose. Sometimes people say, well, the music needs to be composed just by God's inspiration. Of course, there is God's inspiration involved, but there's also a very clear purpose of writing this music, and your composers, these wonderful people you work with, they really write the music for people.
Yeah, that's right.
That is so important for music teachers and everyone in the education. Like you said, don't jump from Bruckner to Brahms. There's a lot written nowadays which can be learned in between, and it's great music and enjoyable, accessible, and also teaches a lot of skills.
Yeah. And actually, you can just go on their website, the New York Women Composers website.
Please do. We're going to show that.
Yeah, they'll have a directory of composers, and you could browse. I mean, it's nothing greater than that, really. And
but sometimes it's right. Browse is right, but sometimes it takes people hearing at least a little bit of it being performed by someone like you, of your level, to really, to get the feel of it. Browsing and all the information.
Well, they have recordings on there too. They have recordings next to their websites. I think during the pandemic, I spent so much time listening to new music on YouTube. And that's how I found, a lot of pieces.
And by the way, here is the website. Please, I would like to encourage everyone to go there and to sample the music by the living composers on that site.
And they do great work. They really do. So,
absolutely.
But I am, hats off to composers everywhere. I'm in awe, and I'm indebted to all of them because they make my life every morning, every day better.
And you make everyone's life every morning, every day better. And I'm including myself in that group of your absolute admirers. And we're running out of time, and I want to have this conversation going forever. We have so many more things to talk about. We will have you back if you don't mind. I know you're really busy, but we promise everyone in our audience, we will have Donna back with more wonderful conversations and great music by living composers. And not only, we heard her play that waltz, and I want to say I was holding my breath at that ritmo. What a wonderful pianist you are, Donna, on top of everything.
Well, thank you so much, Anna, and thank you so much for having me and for doing all the work that you do, shining a light on musicians, composers, artists. It is just so wonderful, and you tirelessly talk about, nonstop working, doing these shows every single day. Really, truly, you're a powerhouse.
I'm going to bounce it right back to you. I can't do it alone. We do it as a community, as many people together, you included. You're a great supporter of our initiatives, our work. And I want to thank everyone on the team. Our team is growing, and we have wonderful musicians, and a lot of them are pianists. By the way, pianists, happy Pianist Day. Yes, and we have a lot of pianists on our team now, working on the back end, preparing those broadcasts, preparing all the technology, visuals, and the music and everything. Thank you, guys. And we have 3 pianists working on the back end for this show today. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Ante. Thank you, James. Bravo, great show. Thank you for preparing and helping us present it today. And I want to also thank our supporters. Many musicians and music organizations from around the world are joining our movement of bringing music and musicians to everyone on our daily shows, on our productions, on our auditions, competitions, and many other things which we do, including concerts which present at the Carnegie Hall and with orchestras around the world. Thank you all very much for adding your energy, for adding your resources, for your encouragement, and for helping us make all of that happen. We have organizations joining us from every country in the world, and now we stream on every conceivable video and social media platform. But not only, we are collaborating with many private platforms, music promotion platforms, music education platforms, publishing platforms, which carry our programs and deliver them to their own audiences. You can watch us on any one of those channels, and please give us your support, join our movement, be involved, get involved, be part of it if you like our vibe. We love you all. We want you to join us, and we're looking forward to seeing you, meeting you, and doing things together with you. And once again, Donna, thank you so much for your wonderful positive energy, for your silver lining, which goes as a line, a red line through everything you do. There's something good coming out of it if you put your kindness and your heart into everything you do. Thank you for being who you are, for being our supporter, for being my friend. I'm forever honored and very, very grateful.
Same goes to you, Anna. Truly. Thank you.
Okay, and with that, we'll say goodbye until tomorrow. And tomorrow is Beethoven. See you all. Bye.